Welcome to the J.A.W.N podcast. I'm your host, Shalia.
And your host, Janina.
And today, y'all, we got Vena from the Confession Corner here with us today.
Hi,
Vena,
y'all.
tell the listeners a little bit about you.
Okay, so I just want to say first and foremost, thank y'all so much for having me on here. I appreciate it. Y'all have a dope ass. Can we cuss? I don't want to cuss.
Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
can
Okay,
cuss.
y'all
Yes, you
have a
can.
dope. Y'all have a dope ass podcast. I love the premise of everything about it. I love how y'all present topics, how y'all have the conversations, and y'all create those just for listeners to be able to relate to them, and just a widespread of things. So I just want to give y'all flowers first and foremost, and just my
Thank
gratitude.
you.
So yes, I'm Vena. Peace, everybody. I'm the mama and the host of the Confession Korner Podcast, a podcast that exemplifies mental health, self-awareness, and self-actualization for young Black adults. So my podcast just really circulates around topics of mental health, but then also deeper topics such as anger management, vulnerability, adult friendships, how to maneuver within that. So it's a all around interpersonal podcast that has depth within the conversations, and I usually just focus on different creatives, influencers, and artists within the DMV area.
Okay,
Cool.
cool. We appreciate you for coming through. And you also have
Yes.
a dope podcast that we enjoy. So we want to give you your flowers as well.
I appreciate it.
So we're going to open with our words of affirmation. And today's affirmation says, always show up like you're meant to be there.
I like that one. I like that.
That part.
No, for real.
Um, and this week's word of the week is accountability.
Ooh. Y'all came with
Okay.
some good ones. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
When you're personally accountable, you take ownership of what happens as a result of your choices and actions. You don't blame others or make excuses, and you do what you can to make amends when things go wrong.
Mhm.
So, the reason why I picked this word, well, honestly, I mean, it might sound corny, but a lot of times in regards to our podcast, things that we need to do, I like things pop in my head. You know what I mean? Like it's not really like I don't think hard or like in that moment. And also, I was listening to our episode on 216 The Blend today,
Mhm.
and we were talking about like friendships and stuff. So um, I chose accountability because sometimes it's hard for us and some people to take accountability for things that we do, or I think a lot of times the turmoil is like disappointment, being disappointed in yourself a lot of times. And
Hmm.
I think sometimes accountability, like you can't escape that disappointment. Like, damn, I did fuck up.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's
Oh, for
true.
real.
That's true. Great word. Great word.
I love that
All right.
one.
So we're going to check in. How are you ladies doing? Vina, you could start since you're our guest. How are you? How's everything going with you?
I am good. I want to say out of a 10, I'm a good 8.5, almost a 9. I think
Okay.
just
Mm.
a 9 because I'm eager for my birthday to come. My birthday is December 17th. So
Okay.
I'm eager for everything that I've been planting within the past couple of months, because I took a little hiatus from my personal social media account. So I'm like, okay, well,
Oh,
when
that's
I do
awesome.
come back, I got all these things to just this is what I did when I was gone. And I usually like to do a cleanse around that time before I transition into my solar return, because I do feel as if there's so many things I could accomplish beforehand, just putting the nail on the head. I'm really trying to get everything accomplished. And so far so good. So I'm at a 8.5, 8 now. I'm not at a 10 or a 9, like I said, just because I just want my birthday to hurry up and come. But then also it's cold. It's so weird because I'm a December baby and I really do not like the cold. I really don't like the cold at all. So I mean, but I'm always accepting of it because it's changed. The season's gonna have to change. We're gonna have to go through that time.
Wait,
But
so you're a Sag?
I surely am. I should.
Yeah. Didn't I do Sag last week?
You
I
did.
think I
You
did
did.
Sag.
How old are you going to be on your birthday?
I am going to be 26.
Oh
Oh,
God.
wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 26. Everybody,
Girl, let me tell you how
Okay.
I thought that you were, because you're so mature in the topics that you speak on. I thought you were way older.
I
really,
knew she was young, but I didn't know how young. I knew she
Yeah,
was young.
really,
I thought you were in your 30s at least, not 26.
Yeah. Not
what?
because you look 30. Yeah, not
No,
because
not
you
because you
because
look
black
30.
women, you don't know. You don't
You
know how
never
old
know,
nobody is.
Yeah.
Somebody could be 50 or 26. You don't know. You like
right?
But
I
like I said, because of the topics that you touch on, how
yeah,
you speak about things,
it's
I
that
just
Gen
thought
Z
you were,
man.
yeah, yeah, that's
Thank y'all so
amazing.
much. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
that's
baby.
what's up.
I'm a baby.
You guys are waves a bit ahead of us in regards to emotional intelligence and self-awareness.
Right.
Like, I mean, so that's one thing I will give Gen Z, because they be like, you ain't fitting to walk all over me.
No, you're
Right.
not.
Hello?
That's what's up. That's what's up. What about you, Janina? How are you?
You know what? I think I like that number scaling thing. I think we probably should start doing that, because I feel like a lot of our guests, they've been doing that, like giving us their
Mm-hmm.
numbers. You know what
They
I mean?
had,
So for the sis you
yeah.
cool, maybe we should incorporate the numbers.
Right.
Out of a scale of 10, I'm probably like a 8. I'm probably like an 8 also.
Okay.
Um I I took myself off my meds, but I don't think um I don't think it was a good thing. So I still taking them
Wait,
again.
you took
Yeah.
yourself off, not your doctor?
No, I put myself on. My doctor just like I just told my doctor about it a long time ago, and then they put a prescription in. But yeah, I took myself off because I mainly for the weight gain thing.
Okay.
But it's kind of like codependent, because the whole reason why I was on it was so that I can, like get a little more focused on doing things. But I don't think that it's helped, like being off. I don't think it's like been helpful in the areas that I need help with organization. But that was the only reason why I stopped taking it. But
Okay.
I start taking it again. I think I
Okay.
was off. Yeah, I probably stopped taking it for like 2 months, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it was longer than that, but I just recently started taking it again because I was like, I need help.
Did you lose weight while you were off for the 2 months?
I didn't lose weight because I never like worked out or anything. I mean, I never, that's what I'm saying. Like, I never even like really went on my diet like I was supposed to, because again, like I said, I feel like the whole thing was like with me being focused, or like not having my like anxiety thoughts spiral, whatever. Like, so I did decide already that I'm just try to join the gym, and after I drop my son off, just go to the gym in the morning.
Okay.
But the organization and the focus that I need is more important than, I mean, my weight gain, I don't know particularly if it's, I just know that's one of the side effects, but I'm also not eating right and exercising. So
Okay. I
Okay.
was gonna say we'll play factors too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
but
Um, me, what am I? I'm like a 7.58. Um, work has been a little crazy. It is cold here in Atlanta, so that was like last night it went down to like 30. So that was like a
Whoa.
real, yeah, it was a lot last night. It was cold. Like I had to crank the heat up. But for the most part, everything else is good. Just for some reason, me working in the field that I am, a lot of people are experiencing seasonal depression.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
right
Yeah,
now, everything is like picking up, picking up, picking up. So just gotta
yeah.
jump in and help people because
Are you
I know
still
how depression can be. Hmm.
are you still on a search for a therapist?
I am still on a search for a therapist. I talked to like two and I just wasn't feeling them. So you
Mm,
know how that is. But I'm
Yeah.
still on a
I'm on a
exactly.
wait
search.
list right now.
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah,
on a search. So, and that's
just with
another
things
thing.
ramping up at work for your own
Yeah,
mental health,
yeah,
it's like you gotta. Try to get ahead
So
of
the
it.
good thing about that is that I have weekly supervision sessions with my supervisor, and when
Okay.
things are hectic as far as work, I'm able to talk to her. She's able to give me some suggestions and things like that. But I do need my own personal therapist just to talk about personal stuff and not
Right.
stuff that's related to work. But that's
Right.
another thing too. So many people are on waiting lists
Yeah.
that they don't even call you back. So
Oh my God.
yeah, but it's going to come. It's going to come. So that's where I'm at with everything. So, all
See.
right. So, oh, I like that joint. Nope, I don't like that joint. Or prime time. What you got, Vena?
Okay. So I have watched because when I do like work and I'm at work or I do work at home, I watch like movies for like background noise. Like I'm not really
Yeah.
paying too
Me
much
too.
attention. I'm not paying too much attention, but at the same time, I'm like attentive. I'm like, oh wow, that following the storyline and everything like that. But I like that joint. I like the new movie that came out with Jamie Foxx and what is his name? Lord.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee
Tommy.
Jones. Oh my gosh, the burial.
The
It was
Burial.
it was such a good movie. It was long as hell,
It
but
was.
it was a really good movie. And I like movies that take me to a place where I'm like, oh, I'm about to go research the rest of this. Like, what else happened
Right.
Mhm.
afterwards and this and the third. But I like that John. Like that, it was a really good movie. I loved, of
Hmm.
course, Jamie Foxx acting. I'm glad to see that he's back and up and running in productions and in films and stuff like that, just due to his previous health concerns and everything. And just also seeing the whole basis of like how this lawyer took on this case that almost seemed impossible, that wasn't really matching up to the cases that he usually did serve, and just the
Hmm.
whole stepping away from the status quo type of thing, and really making something work. I loved it. I loved the theatrics of it. I love the approach to it. Also, what's her name? Smollett. I forgot her first name.
Journey.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. Journey Smollett was in it, and I loved it. I've loved her ever since like Eve's Bayou.
Yeah,
For
she's a great actress.
Mhm.
real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's mine right now. I watched it recently. I watched it twice actually this week, but I had watched it firsthand like last week or week before last, and I was like, let me revisit this again while I'm
Okay.
at work, and then also when I had some downtime. So yeah,
Okay. I gotta watch it. I'm out of the
Oh
loop.
yeah.
yeah, it's on
Oh yeah,
Amazon.
it was good. It's based off a true story. The lawyer that Jamie portrays was a real black lawyer, and this was, what was this? The 90s?
90s. It was like early 90s, it was like early 90s, kind of late 80s,
Right.
or maybe mid 90s. 'Cause I know they were showing the OJ
The
case.
OJ trial, yeah.
Yeah.
But it does expose the systematic racism, because a lot of people don't understand how it works. But
Mhm.
systematic racism in the funeral business,
Okay.
in small rural areas. So yeah, it
Okay.
was really good. My husband actually watched it, and he told me it was good or whatever. So my I like that John is a movie. I'm sorry. It's actually a
It's
mini
fine.
t it's a TV miniseries. I never knew anything about this. It's called The Book of Negroes. I
Oh, I never.
never And it has Audrey Ellis in it.
Oh wow.
Wasn't that out for Black History? I think
This
it
came
was.
out years ago though. I never saw it.
Oh, okay.
The Book of Negroes came out like 2015. I watched it on
Wow.
Tubi. I
Okay.
don't even usually watch Tubi, right? What happened was that my kids wanted to watch this movie. And when I looked it up to see where it was available. And I'm still a little irked because it showed online it was a Paranorman, right? They said it was available on Stars, right? And so I freaking enrolled in Stars. And then afterwards, I realized it was available on Tubi for free.
Oh wow.
So when I went to Tubi, yeah, but so we watched it downstairs. Then when I went upstairs, whatever, I watched it. I put Tubi on, and then I saw Audrey Ellis, and I was like, "What is this movie, girl? It's like 6, 7 episodes." But it's really good. She portrays this enslaved woman in the 1700s. Like the
Mhm.
movie starts from her being captured in Sierra Leone, all the way to like she went to Nova Scotia, like it just was a lot and it was really good. And they have it's a lot of stars in it. You saw Acrimony?
Yeah.
I didn't
The
see it.
husband, the fine black guy, the husband that plays in
Yeah.
Acrimony. He
Yeah.
plays her husband in that in the Book of Negroes.
Okay.
And like I said, it was good. I never even knew it existed. I don't think it's a true story, but I think it's similar to like Roots, where it's like based on true things that happened. But it was really good. I like was up really late watching it.
Oh
And it's
wow.
on
But
Tubi.
it's on Tubi. I don't know if it's only on Tubi though. But
Okay.
I mean, Tubi's free. It was
I
completely
know.
free. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
completely free. I really be sleeping on Tubi apparently.
So the
But
thing with Tubi is there be a lot of ghetto fabulous movies. You know what I'm
that's what I'm
saying?
saying. But in essence, they have regular movies too. Like
Yeah.
like movies that were out. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
but this it was the book. It's called the Book of Negroes originally because there is a book called the Book of Negroes. I'm
Mhm.
lying. Like you said, when you watch stuff and then you got to research and do whatever. So there
Mhm.
is a book called the Book of Negroes. The intentions of the Book of Negroes is that when um the Revolutionary War happened, the
Mhm.
British were they were like recruiting black soldiers, right? And so
Mhm.
the deal was that if the black soldiers fight for the British, then they get their freedom.
Mhm.
Mm.
And then a lot of them they offered them opportunity to live in Nova Scotia.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
this, like I said, this is the 1700s. So like slavery is well and happening in America. So it shows all of that, like the British and then like the Patriots and them fighting and all that, like in New York City. It's like I said, it was really good. And then but everything like a lot of times with Europeans is a setup. So they go to Nova Scotia, of course, like it's like famine. So so then they propose for people to go to Sierra Leone. So that's how a lot of like enslaved Africans got to Sierra Leone
Mhm.
after being enslaved in America. It's crazy. But it was
That
really
sounds
good.
good.
Yeah,
Gotta
it
check
was.
that out too.
Yeah, it was
I'm
really
not
good.
really a TV watcher these days. Something about TV. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not watching. It doesn't hold. I can't sit there for hours and watch something. Maybe I'm
Well,
getting some
like Vena
adult.
said, I'll do it
Yeah, I'm
while I'm
feeling
doing
that,
something
but
else.
See,
But
I don't have that kind of job. I gotta
oh
be
right.
like
Yeah,
focused. You know what I mean? So,
that's true.
and then after listening to people all day, I just want peace and quiet at the end of the day. So that has a
Yeah.
lot to do with it too. So I'm switching gears. I have a nope. I don't like that joint.
oh,
So, so me being scrolling TikTok one day, I know y'all probably heard of it, the unbrush, the brush that's supposed to like detangle your hair really good. Have y'all heard of it? No? Okay. So that's
mm,
what I get for being on TikTok. And now everything is like TikTok shop. So I see this brush, and this brush is supposed to be like this detangling brush, and
So
everybody's
is it the
showing
one
it.
that like is like
does it go underneath your hair or
flexible?
something?
No, it's like a brush on the back is open, and it's supposed to like just detangle your hair, wet,
Oh, okay.
dry.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I know what you're talking about,
Oh
though.
yeah, I got that a long time ago.
So I bought one, right?
Hmm.
Immediately after, I get an email from my bank. Your card has been compromised. We are canceling this card and sending you out a new one.
No way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
I
sorry that
said,
happened. What?
well, I'm glad that my bank
Wow.
was on top of it and that they
Right.
canceled my card. You know what I mean? So I don't like that, Joan. I don't like the fact that I'm trying to support somebody and then y'all compromise my information. Cause like what were you trying to do? You know what I mean? And so
But
lesson learned again, you
But I
can't
don't know.
be
I feel like I don't know what's going on more recently because like somebody tried to get into our Instagram and then somebody was trying to get into my email, my Hotmail email. And then also this is weird because I have like the Starbucks app and in the Starbucks app I had like $3 or something from I think like an old gift card. Well, like somebody was able to use it. I was like, what?
Do you have the same password on multiple things?
I do. So that's why I
That's
know like that's a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I changed mine around. I mean, it's relatively kind of the same because I'll like modify it, but at the same time,
Mhm.
it's not exactly the
I
same.
know I'm so bad. I think
Yeah.
I'm about to just pay for one of those password managers
Yeah.
because
So thank God my bank was on top of it. You know what I mean? Because who
Yeah,
knows what had happened to my little bit of money that they thought they was going to get, but it's still mine. I still worked hard for it. You know what I mean?
right.
So I hope the brush supposedly came today. I haven't been to my mailbox, but don't ask me to do no review, no nothing, because the answer is no, because you compromise my information. So I don't like that, John. I don't like scammers. I
I don't like
definitely
that
don't.
either.
them scammers is vicious,
They
man.
really, they really on top of it, especially around this time of the year too, because you know it's holiday season. Everybody's trying to get money and
You're
stuff like
right.
that. Black Friday
Right.
too.
So I said that I'm going to buy one of those reloadable gift cards, and that's what I'll be using from now on when I do online shopping.
Hmm.
Because I can't afford to be, oh, now I gotta wait 3 days to get a new card
Ugh.
because the original bank that I have is in Philadelphia. Now I'm in Atlanta. I can't just go in there and be like, can I get a new card? You know what I mean? They gotta put it in the mail. So it is what it is. I'm glad that was avoided. So. So we're
Yeah.
going to get into this week's episode topic. This week's episode topic is achieving mental wellness before and maintaining while in a relationship.
Oh yeah. I'm
So
ready.
you ready? Okay, well jump right in, girl.
I'm ready. And so okay, what's the question? Is there like any specific question or
No,
I guess
just
like what's your
what's your
standpoint on it?
standpoint
yeah,
on it? So basically, I'm always going to be an advocate for mental wellness and mental health because I am a social worker. But my thing is, especially when you are intertwining or becoming one with somebody, and not so much of like marriage, but even inviting somebody into your space, you have to also be mindful that you're inviting them into your mental space as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important and imperative for people to do like a checklist of that and make sure that they're able to at least be grounded within their mental health and mental wellness, because if not, it could corrupt the relationship, the connection, or whatever it is, truly. And honestly, I'm a big believer in like as we progress and as we move on, as we meet people, some things from those people are like embedded into us as we move along with our journey. So it's important to make sure that you're in some type of tip top shape before you even like intertwine yourself, like I said before, with somebody else, because you never know what that impact can do to them, but then also vice versa. So
yeah. I
yeah.
totally agree. I agree. It prior I've always had, I'm not going to say mental health issues, but experienced depression and things like that. But
Hmm.
I didn't know until I became an adult and started getting into serious relationships where I saw the impact of not handling your trauma, being depressed, and allowing someone else to come in and like put you down and things like that. So if you're not well, then like you said, you could allow that person to bring you to a different level.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that you're taking care of your mental health, loving yourself, practicing your own self-love, your own self-care before you even try to even get into a relationship. Because if not, again, any little thing that that person says or does can just take you on a spiral. So I think it's
Right.
definitely important. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like I guess in some instances a double-edged sword because depending on the individual that you're with, sometimes that person could actually like make you more aware of certain things that you do.
That too.
It just a lot of times depends on like your friendship with them. And I
Mhm.
think people miss out on like creating your friendship as a foundation within the relationship. Like I know for me it's a lot of things that I didn't realize, like I didn't realize my anxiety was really what it was a lot of times. um but like I think now I'm realizing that like I've been in a couple of car accidents,
I'm sorry.
and yeah, well, it ain't my fault, but but my anxiety is worse with driving. A lot of things that I do when you drive by yourself, right? You drive
Mm-hmm.
by yourself, it's some things that you may do that you may not realize is not normal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband is a truck driver. He likes to drive, but sometimes like if we go on a trip and we have to drive long distances, like he needs help driving. You should never be an issue for me.
Right.
But like recently we went somewhere and I was driving and I felt like I really couldn't see the line or whatever. I don't know. I think my vision was changing too. Plus I was anxious. So child, he was like, okay, pull over. He's
Please
like,
take the
okay,
wheel,
pull over.
Lord.
Right. But again, like I think a lot of times people I see it often and I'm sure like depending on your age, right? So like if
Mhm.
you start dating somebody and you're only like 21, 22, a lot of times you're not thinking, oh, this is somebody I'm dating this person, for the rest of my life, blah, 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 blah. You're just like, well, this is somebody I like them, we just kicking it. Um, but I feel like you also have to be you have to have like your third eye open all the time to kind
Right.
of pick up on other people's shit, because it is people just like somebody can recognize my shit, I can recognize somebody else's shit, and they may not be open to like receiving that criticism, like, oh, okay, well, I noticed you do this and blah, 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 blah. If you're genuine and you come to them with that and they're not open to it, then I don't know if you could cultivate a healthy relationship with that person. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like things that you may see that's unhealthy for their mental well-being, and they, aren't open to like I feel like a lot of that comes with maturity, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
It sure does.
because people maybe get defensive first
Right.
if you're like, well, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Like,
But it's the way to approach it that, like, I personally wouldn't say, why do you do this? Why do you do that?
Yeah.
Mostly, I would get to know the person's background because trauma bonds are real. People
Oh my God.
definitely
Yes.
bond over trauma, and that is toxic. But again, it's the way you approach it. Learning about their family background, learning about their history. Janina, you know that because when you and I became friends, a lot of stuff you didn't understand about me until I told you about my background and my family history and all of that stuff. So learning about
I'm
that
just saying
can
that
give
just took a
you
really long time. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it
This
took a
took a
really
long
long
time.
time for
right, but
you to
now
connect the dots.
right, but I'm
And for
saying now that I know, that's how I would approach it. Because if you learn about somebody's family history, then it'll tell you a lot about why they do certain things and why they act certain ways.
Yeah,
But
it floods
trauma
into
bonds are toxic.
Yeah, it floods into a lot because, and I want to make a good point, like based off what Janina said about confronting somebody. Like, if I see your shit, you gonna see my shit. And I really do say this. I'm now being more proud to say it or being more confident in saying it. I do believe that for me in my relationships, whether it's like friendships, romantic relationships, or family relationships, I don't do it intentionally, but I understand that I'm a reflector. So that could all go into a different type of like way of where, like, okay, I'm reflecting something that I see in you, and you may be like, well, I don't know. Like, for instance, one of my friends has a real bad like overthinking problem.
Mhm.
And I've like disclosed to her, like, well, it sounds like you're doing just regurgitating the things that she said or whatever the case may be. And I say, it sounds like, you're like really frustrated, or like, you overthink a lot. And I wonder why that is. And she was like, well, that's just your opinion about it. And I'm like, okay,
exactly.
m- maybe it is my opinion and this and the third, but I'm just showing you what you're giving me. And I just want to
Exactly.
know if you're receptive to that. And usually she wasn't, but she did come back and was like, I did remember when you had told me that I do overthink a lot, and I never tell anybody like, yeah, this is what you do, but just in
Right.
the sense of giving it back to you and where you could comprehend it much better, or you could see it and you're like, oh, well, maybe I do this, and you'll be able to pinpoint that out. Mind you, I'm not doing this intentionally. I am nobody's therapist. I get paid for it, so I'm not about to go ahead and like just do it free willingly, especially to my friends and like my romantic relationships. But I do understand that some people are not receptive to seeing their own shit, and it could either put growth into the relationship or the friendship, but then it also could like hinder it depending on how they take it, if they're receptive to it or not.
Right.
And especially just trauma bonds too, like that's toxic. I know a lot of people, even myself, I've been in friendships or relationships or just situations where this thing had happened to both of us, and
Mhm.
I feel as if we feel like we're so connected because this thing had happened to both of us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When actually
Right.
we never sat down and found out about each other. And I think that's what I'm learning now too, as I'm stepping into womanhood more. Really finding out about people that I'm around, and even especially like the men too in my life, because now I'm in a place where even with friendships or just partnerships or whatever, I'm very, very strict on how I'm treated, but then also how our friendship is firsthand. You know, how our friendship is firsthand, how our connection is. Like, I don't want this to be a surface level type of connection. I just had to disconnect from one of my friends, well, former friends, and
Mhm.
I realized that the whole relationship or the friendship was just based off of like, fluffy words and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And granted, they would show up once or twice, but for the majority of the friendship, I was showing up consistently. And that kind
Mhm.
of made me feel some type of way. And then when I
Yeah.
addressed it, they took it in stride. All right, yeah, I want to value
Mhm.
this relationship and friendship. But then come a few weeks later, a month, I'm still seeing the same stuff. And now I got
Yeah.
to I gotta tell your ass about yourself, and then now you don't like it, and then
Right.
now you're at this distancing like stage in our friendship where it's like I have to tell you up front, and I'm being more confident in that this is not this is not honoring this situation or friendship or whatever connection is not honoring who I am, and I really don't feel like
Mm.
I am valued within this position. So I think it's best that I evaluate what like our situation, our friendship, and move accordingly. It broke
Right.
my heart a
Mm.
little bit, but I was like, dang, I gotta do it because
No, that's, you know what? You are operating on a huge learning curve,
yeah.
because that's something that like I didn't realize until I was like in my 30s. You know what I mean? Um but what I will say is, due to your age, you will not find depth in everyone.
Not
You
everyone.
you you will not find depth in everyone. You
Mhm.
can have friends who, everybody, like Shalia say this all the time. You just got to know who to go to for what. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
I have people who, yeah, we could talk about housewives and, other this certain things all day long. You get what I'm saying? And then you have maybe a friend that y'all can talk about your traumatic situations that happen to you, or you may need some kind of like counseling, like just like, it just, everybody's not for everything. My
Right.
Yeah.
whole ponytail
Yeah.
came out. Yeah, everybody, everybody's just not for everything. You know what I mean? But I don't think all the time you have to dead things. Sometimes you just gotta fall back.
Yeah, you
You
gotta
know what I
push
mean?
distance in between it, especially and also with that specific individual, his mentality, and like you said, I like how you said not
What was
everybody's
the
gonna have
matter?
depth. His mental, I feel as if he was seeing a therapist, and he did tell me that he suffers from PTSD,
Hmm.
specifically with like friendships and relationships because he did grow up in Baltimore. So just that back history, and he would tell me about the family history and how he grew up in the projects, this and the third.
Hmm.
And I was receptive to it, and it made a lot of sense, mentally. It made a lot of sense as to why you cherish relationships but also have trust issues, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, or friendships. And it kind of made some sense, but at the same time, I really am in a place where I take people for who they are, but then I also position myself where if I'm accepting of that, or if I want how far they could get deep within the relationship with me or friendship or whatever it is. So
Yeah. Yeah, everybody has a different place in your life. Um, and like Janina said, like I think when I was in my 20s, I felt like I had to debt everything. But again, that relates to trauma, but
mhm.
also we have to also realize that everybody is not capable, and I say this all the time too, everybody's not capable of what we expect them to do or expect them to be. So that's
Mhm.
why sometimes, yeah, you do have to take a step back, maybe let the person realize your value, because sometimes when we're deep into it, people don't realize how valuable you are until you take a
Right.
step back and you stop being what you are to that person. Then they realize, like, damn, well, when she was here, she was this and she was that, and that allows them to appreciate you more. But
Mhm.
the thing about mental health is that a lot of times people don't realize that they're not mentally well. So
Yes.
it oftentimes takes for someone, a loved one or a caring person, to like point things out to them, and like again, if they're receptive or they're not, because a lot of people look at therapy as a bad thing. they're
Yeah.
not they're not open to it. And so I don't use the word therapy a lot anymore, especially with males. I'll just say counseling or talking to someone, because a lot of people are like, well, I got my friends and my family. That's not the same. Your friends and your family often tell you what you want to hear. They're not giving you the real deal. They're not looking in from a different perspective and letting you know, like, you're wrong when you do this. You're not, you should apologize and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's just the idea that people have about mental health and have about therapy, especially older people. A
Right.
lot of them, they don't believe in it at all. I ain't going to nobody and let them tell me about myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
where you should, because a lot of times they're the toxic people in our lives that are putting, or they're like, and nothing, I love God, love the Bible, but you can have a therapist and you can have God.
Mhm.
Everything is not so biblical, where it's like, just go in the Bible, just go in the Bible, just because if therapists or mental health coaches and counselors were needed, then God would have created them.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, you want me to go?
I,
Okay.
you can go ahead. Go ahead, Vina.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. But no, I love that because especially with I was gonna say about like, I was gonna ask, do y'all believe in like couples counseling before people get into a relationship?
I do,
Okay.
definitely do.
Why
Yeah,
you believe in it?
Before you
I
get in a
do.
relationship or before you
Before
get
you
like
get in a
married?
relationship. Before you get in a relationship. Before you get in a relationship, yeah. Before you get in a relationship first.
So
Hmm.
not before you get in a relationship, but before you get married, or
Married.
before
Okay,
you,
okay, good.
yeah, because the
Mhm.
relationship might not last. Why am
Right.
I going through all these counseling sessions with people that probably not going? I don't know when I get into their relationship how long
Yeah.
it's going to last, or am I
Mm-hmm.
in this for the long run? So no, but before marriage, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think every scenario is different. I think every relationship is different. So I think I feel like I do know of people who went to couple counseling before they even got engaged. I have heard of that before.
Yeah.
Um and I have heard of people, a lot of people don't go to premarital counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I for one definitely didn't. I didn't do couple counseling until after I got married and my, like went through stuff, and my marriage is like probably was it was at the time it wasn't horrible, but we needed to work through some things.
Right.
But I think if people look at counseling as a tool for any and every relationship, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like your relationship with your siblings, you can go to counseling. Your relationship with your parents, you can go to counseling. Your relationship with your spouse, your significant other, your relationship with your friends, anybody, any relationship that you have can utilize counseling, because this person is trained to
Mm-hmm.
navigate through some of your conflicts, because there could be things that I'm feeling and I don't have the correct words to give like my portrayal of my emotions. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think counseling can be a tool for any and everyone. If the two parties are willing participants, then it could definitely help, um, but it just really depends on how open-minded the people are. Like I've seen people say like, yeah, I started going, but then like Drew on Housewives, like her husband went to counseling, but like the husband wasn't trying to take accountability, so he just stopped going. And then you're just going to couple counseling by yourself. So
Yeah, that don't work.
yeah, the thing about mental wellness is that it's a daily thing. And
Yes. Oh my goodness.
if everyone looked at it like that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
people a lot of times don't look at their mental well-being as being something that they should be concerned about until they had, like, I was thinking about this the other day, how back in the day, you're young, but back in the day they used to just say nervous breakdown. Oh, she had a nervous breakdown. She
Yeah.
had a nervous breakdown. What the freak? I'm like, so like now today, I'm like, a nervous breakdown. So are you saying that she was just so nervous?
That she lost all
No,
control, motor
now they
control.
say more a psychotic break. Now
Mm-hmm.
they may say more so like a psychotic break, or and it's like I was like wondering back in the day, because I used to, not saying I heard it often, but when it relayed to mental health and like somebody not having like schizophrenia, like it was such a huge contrast, right? Like
Right.
somebody's diagnosed with schizophrenia or someone has a nervous breakdown.
Breakdown. Yeah.
but
It's
it's not that they were so nervous. It's the
Yes.
nervous system, the breakdown of the nervous system. That's what
yeah,
they
I was
meant
just
by
about to
that.
say that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is the way that where it probably, they probably just had a moment where they like people could have just fell in a deep depression. You get what I'm saying? Like they didn't have a lot of the words for what actually was
It
going
wasn't
no,
on.
specifically it wasn't specifically branded as certain diagnoses or certain
right.
Right.
illnesses or anything like that. It really wasn't put a lot of thought into it, because you have to remember at that time, back, a little further back, mental health and mental wellness really wasn't a prominent type of topic, especially for the African American community. So
Right.
But
it's
it's such,
like, all
yeah.
right, well, you have a nervous breakdown. Oh, she need to go talk to God about that one, because
Exactly.
oh, she a little
But
touched.
it was but to me, it was such a contradictory because there were more mental facilities back then, right? So the difference is that there were more mental facilities back then than there are today.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a place to just remove them from society, right?
Right.
So it's like they just, like, when people would have children who were maybe Down syndrome or whatever, they would just send them away. Like,
If you was on the
Yeah.
spectrum, it
it's
definitely
crazy.
wasn't
Like they wouldn't
factoring
even live
that.
in the house with them. You'd be like, well, I thought she had another kid. Like, oh no,
Mhm.
and these kids would actually live away. So I think today more people are walking the earth in front of us and seeing us amongst society who has mental health issues,
Mhm.
and you don't know. Like I
Right.
work with somebody who I know, like me and my coworker can see her ADHD, right? She's in her 60s. And we see her ADHD, but she's in her 60s. They're not diagnosing people. Like 40 years ago, they was not
They
diagnosing
weren't.
adults with ADHD. 40
Mhm.
Right.
years ago. But and then my coworker has ADHD, so she was diagnosed and she lives with it, so she sees all the symptoms and things that this person is doing that's the same. But
Mhm.
imagine living so long with the undiagnosed mental illness. You know what I mean? Because
And not being seen is kind. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but
Go
not being seen, it creates a certain type of, I don't want to say so much resentment, but a resentment, but slash relief, because now think about the older generation who now see everything that's so easily resourceful to people in the younger generation who have mental health illnesses or diagnoses and stuff like that. And it's like, dang, I wish they had that when I was younger, or when I was, in the height of that. But now I'm more appreciative, and it's more relief to see that the evolution of this is happening. And especially with relationships, uh I know it's a lot of stories, especially from hearing some of my friends' stories, of their grandparents' relationships, and how the grandmother, grandfather
Mhm.
stay together no matter what, but the
Right.
grandfather was narcissistic, or
Mhm.
intimate partner violence was prevalent within the household and stuff like that. And it's
Right.
like it's so many things to it's so many things to dissect and have to. I don't want to say apologize for, but at the same time, we're moving in a direction, like I said, regret slash relief of just like, dang, I wish this wasn't, a resentment. I wish we had this, but now I'm more relieved that the future generations have it. And it's something to see, it's something to witness. But I do think that mental health, wellness, and maintaining a certain standard of mental wellness within a relationship, whether it be a friendship, romantic, whatever, is
Right.
important, because like I said, we impact each other daily without some people knowing, and then sometimes we do,
Right.
impact each other every day. So
Mhm.
you have to be mindful of like what you're saying and how you're presenting yourself, and if you are valuing your mental health within that
Yeah.
space, because if not, it could go, like I gave the example of my friend, like I was a little hurt by it, but it's not so impactful. But at the same time, it's like I know what to look out for in a different type of people if they do have this like bad the prevalent trust issues and PTSD and everything like that. Like, I'm okay, I'm not going to diagnose
Right.
you, but I understand it. And it's like, dang, okay, am I going to be receptive to this and be able to like move along with it? But then also, like, am I going to be able to like accept you for who you are, and then like not, I don't want to say not entertain it, but not dwell so deep into the relationship or the friendship or whatever. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a tough decision, and I do believe that everybody should seek at least some type of mental counsel or some type of
Mhm.
mental what is it? I want to say evaluation before, especially for romantic relationships too, because you never know when you do evolve with somebody, you are potentially like going to build a
Yeah.
family, a future with them. So you have to also think about the genes. If this person's grandmother had
Yep.
bipolar 1, or somebody else had a major depressive disorder,
Right.
how is that going to trailblaze into the next generations? And if so, do we have the coping skills and mechanisms to just alleviate that or know what to do? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
not to say that they don't
Definitely.
deserve love, or they don't deserve, or people with mental health diagnosis don't deserve that.
No, you just know how to navigate their relationship. Like
Right.
it's easier when people, and that's where self-awareness and getting the help for yourself, because you're able to go into a relationship like, hey, I have this going on, just to let you know from the gate, like, okay, this
But how
triggers
many
my
people do that? They
I know
don't.
some people do. I've had two people that
yeah.
I
Women, but men,
oh
it's
no, those two men that had disclosed to me at one point in time. I was dating this one man, and he had told me that his anxiety is through the roof.
Mhm.
Like
okay.
he's on medication, everything like that. Like he's
Okay.
on Xanax and everything. And I was like, oh, okay. Not like recreational, but like I could see
Right.
the actual like prescription. And he was like, still good friends with him, romantically that had ceased. But it was relieving to see somebody be so confident and comfortable doing that, because
Yeah.
nowadays it's like, oh, if you find out, it's like I'm ashamed of it, because you have to also understand the
Right.
embarrassment of and shame within that, because now you have to understand we're still breaking down stereotypes within mental health and wellness every day as we prolong towards the
Right.
future.
Yeah.
It's so much of a negative like connotation on people who have mental health diagnoses, and it's like, well,
Right.
I don't want to deal with that person, they are majorly depressed, or they have anxiety, or they're bipolar. And it's like, yes, that is present, but then also it depends on the person and how they navigate it, because I know people who have fulfilling relationships romantically with people who have diagnoses and who are either on medication or they're in therapy or they have
Yeah, that's because
skills.
they're doing the work. You have
Right,
to do the work. You can't
right,
go into it because even, I say to clients, okay, you're feeling better, but that doesn't mean you quit therapy. It has to be ongoing because that's what I used to do. Oh, I'm good. I'm a quit therapy, but those issues show right back up in different ways. But
hmm,
we also have to make sure that we're keeping our boundaries and allowing, people in our lives that we feel like, because we don't want to do more damage to them than they already have. So we
right,
got to be mindful of, okay, can I really support this person where they are, or is it going to be too much for me, especially if you have your own stuff going on? That's why I do say disclose what you're going through. But one thing I wanted to touch on is about our family history. A lot of times, if we discuss that stuff, because that's where a lot of our stuff comes from, that
Yeah.
trauma growing up in a house with abusive grandparents and parents and different stuff like that, that depression that our grandmothers and our moms had, we don't talk about that stuff, and then it's spilling over into our relationships.
Yeah.
So it's always important to disclose when you feel comfortable. It's not something that you have to come right into the relationship and be
yeah,
like,
no.
this
As
is
long
what I
as
have.
with
Right.
the or something at least of substance, like past 3 6 months, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
right,
I
yeah,
Yeah.
gotta bring it up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if the stigma of like mental, I'm not gonna say illness, but like some mental conditions that you have, these are beyond your control. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's just like when people talk about other health conditions, like they don't get judged for it. So it's like,
They do though. That's the thing. You
some
never
people.
know
I
when
don't
you're
know.
going to be judged. You just never
mm.
know. That's
Like if
the
somebody
that's
told me
the
they had a
scary
heart
part.
murmur, I wouldn't judge them. Like, okay, like if your grandmother had cancer, that's not on you. But like if
But that's
you're,
you. That's you though, because you have more, you're more like you're different. Everybody don't have that. I tell you all the time how I share she used to share my ills with people, not even in romantic relationships, but they would blame me. Like, oh, that's because you eat too
I'm
much
saying with that,
sugar or you
I think with
eat
that
this or
illness,
eat
that yeah,
that.
that's a misconception a lot of times that because there are people who are diabetic and it is because of their own actions. But I mean like a condition that you wouldn't be able to control at all. Like not your not everybody's diabetes is what they can control. And
Mm,
that's people
But
not being
even with
educated.
mental health, people think you could control that, and that's not true. So it's all about that's why I said you
Oh,
have to
yeah, I
have
guess so.
boundaries and you have to choose who you're going to disclose this information
Yeah,
to.
that's true.
Because even people who seem genuine, I got somebody that I've been friends with for 20 plus years and they're still judgmental. So
mm.
it just depends on the person.
No, you're
Everybody's
right.
not
I think
there.
it depends on the person, but then also like how the individual feels about disclosing it. I mean, granted, the
Yeah.
world is not going to be soft on us. You know, whether you
Mhm.
have X, Y, and Z or whatever the case may be, the people are going to judge you regardless. They may not do it outwardly, but then in their head or amongst their groups, people are going to judge you. I think it's all about living in your authentic truth and making sure that you are comfortable with knowing that this does not define you. You know,
Yeah.
I do understand that there may be a bit of a shameful type of outlook on it, you know, or embarrassment about it. But for those, and speaking for myself, not saying that I've been diagnosed, but I understand, you know, going out to therapy and stuff like that, there are certain things and certain triggers that I do show, like have and show within like connections, or have shown in connections and relationships and friendships where I'm like, okay, well, I'm a little ashamed about it, but then I also had to one day realize like this is who I am, but then also I'm willing to do the work to improve this. And I'm not going to be 100% perfect. I'm not going to be 100% controllable over my anxiety and depressive episodes, but then I'm going to give myself a chance to actually put in the work. So at least it's not as worse as it was beforehand when I wasn't trying to do the work or even acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? And I think for more society, like I said, as we evolve, I think people are starting to, some people, I'm starting to see more, some people are now becoming more lenient on, well, if this person is doing the work, like they can't help this specific disorder. They can't. But if you are doing the work and you are showing that you are serious about yourself, I think that's the most beautiful thing. And you're also authentic about it. It shows that this connection or this friendship could possibly, turn into something beautiful, because like I said before, people with mental health disorders or any type of conditions do deserve love. They do deserve that type of fulfillment and long lasting type of connection, relationship, friendship with anybody. It's just all about if the person is being able to do the work. Now, if you have this specific condition and you know about it and you're just letting it by the wayside, you're not only harming yourself, but you're also harming those that are within the connection with you.
That's true. And I always say the people who are for you are going to love you no matter what you got going on. It could be a physical disability that's visible. If those are your people, they're going to accept you and love you on you no matter what. But then you have to see people who don't accept you, they're not your people. That's it.
Right.
It's take it, eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Yep, definitely. So we're going to get into our game that we always play when we have guests on.
I don't even know because this girl's so young.
Experiences they vary. So
no, just because the category, sometimes I try to cater it around a person, but so I'm hoping these shows. Do you watch old shows?
Yeah. Yeah, I watch like Sanford and Son, Good Times.
Okay. All right, you good. Okay, you good. All right. You didn't never know. Some people, okay, yeah, you are a little old soul. Okay. Some people, they not. Okay. So the category is TV shows. So Spitfire game, you select one of the two, the first one that you would prefer, but you don't have time to think about it. Okay.
Put on my thing.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The Jamie Foxx Show or Martin?
Jamie Foxx Show.
Good Times or the Jefferson? Come on.
The Jefferson.
Living Single or Girlfriends?
Oh my God. Living Single.
Family Matters or the Cosby Show?
Family Matters.
What? That's because you gotta think about her age.
What's Happening or Sanford and Son?
Sanford and Son.
Power or Empire?
Power.
Insecure or Atlanta?
Oh my God, no way. That's crazy. Insecure. I hate to say that though.
P-Valley or Pose?
P-Valley.
The Shy or Snowfall?
Snowfall.
Blackish or Grownish?
Blackish.
I'm glad I added more new because we be stuck in the 90s, okay?
I don't mind it. I was there.
We millennials, we be stuck in the 90s, so I'm glad I added some new stuff to it.
That's why she picked the Jamie Foxx Show over Martin. I'm like, what?
No, because Martin, I used to watch Martin a lot though, and I like Martin. Don't get me wrong, icon in the Black community and comedy entertainment. But the show really wasn't something it really didn't hit me that much. Like if you would have said the Wayans brothers, if you would have said the Wayans brothers and then Jamie Foxx, then I would have had like a little tight of a choice. Yeah. I love the Jamie Foxx Show. Oh my God.
The Jamie Foxx Show was good, yeah, but it's like Martin is my favorite TV show. Like Martin is my favorite TV show.
We still watch Martin and be cracking up. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, see. It's good.
Again, a lot of stuff is nostalgia. I mean, you weren't even alive when Martin was out.
I was 197. But I was a baby.
Martin was way out.
It was over.
Martin was way out.
Martin was over. Definitely.
97. Yeah. You ain't watching nothing coming out your mom, Cuda Cat.
I definitely think
so it is different with us because like whenever you've watched Martin, it either probably was like on a syndicated situation where it was a repeat, or if you saw it on demand somewhere, whatever. Like for us, it was like we had to watch it when it aired, like that
Like
specific
weekly.
day and that
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
asking about Insecure and Atlanta got me because those are my
mm.
two
Oh
favorite.
yeah. Oh
Issa
yeah. I'm so
Rae
glad
is
I used
my,
I
oh
know.
my God, I love Issa Rae. If Issa's watching this, Issa, I
we used to
want
do
you to
insecure.
get
Girl.
We
record.
did insecure recaps for the last season. We did insecure recaps.
Really?
So
Let
you
me
can
Yeah.
know
go
if
back
I
and
need
listen
more
to
on
that.
that. I love it. I love
Yeah.
Insecure.
Go back.
Also,
I think that's like season
Yeah,
4.
it's over. Yeah,
yeah,
go
Yeah.
back
it
and
is.
listen to that. We did insecure recaps for the last season of Insecure.
Oh, okay, okay. Of the last season. Okay. And Atlanta is
Yeah.
profound as well. Like Donald Glover did his thing.
Mhm.
He
Yeah, for
did his
sure.
thing so well. I wish it did not end. I wish both of them didn't end because those are my
I
two
know.
go-tos. But
I know.
Donald Glover definitely did his thing. But Issa, oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God, a role model, a mogul, an icon. So, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you for coming on. So
Of
give
course.
everybody your social media and contact information on where they can find you at.
Okay. So this was amazing, y'all. Wow. So my thank y'all so much. This is really dope. So my Instagram handle, I have my personal account, which is 3 underscores in the front. Vena, it's just 3 underscores, VENA. Of course, the Confession Corner podcast, spelled as it is, the Confession Corner. The Confession and Corner are spelled with K's. So it's gonna be TheKonfessionKorner.
That's
Mhm.
her podcast page.
That's my podcast page. I had to make sure I got it. That's my podcast page. You also can find the Confession Corner on YouTube as well, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor by Spotify. And also be on the lookout for theconfessioncorner.com. Be having a website very, very soon. Coming, I want to say probably in December, in another month or so.
Oh, okay.
So everybody could be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's that.
Okay. Like I said, we appreciate you for coming through. Y'all make sure y'all go check out and follow the Confession Corner. Some very
And
dope
subscribe on YouTube.
episodes. Yes.
Yes.
Very dope episodes, very dope guests. You will definitely walk away learning something and have a different perspective. So we definitely appreciate you for coming
I
on.
appreciate y'all so much. Thank you
Yes.
so
Oh, thank
much.
you.
Oh, this is
So
great.
we appreciate y'all for listening. Y'all know that y'all can find us every Wednesday on 216 The Blend. And if you ever need us, tap the link in our bio on our Instagram page, the_J.A.W.N_pod. And that's what we'll be. So we will catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace. Oh, wow.
Hold up. Don't leave yet. Thanks for listening to my mom and auntie. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram at the_John_podcast. On Twitter at W_the_J. On TikTok at the_J.A.W.N podcast. And visit our website www.johnpod.net. Don't forget to ask the Joy, sending your listening letters to thejohnpod@gmail.com. Period.
This is the Joy, a podcast. I love y'all. Be forward.